see-through that will border the property on the south and the east. There was some concern about the noise that would, and incidentally, this is nothing that could have been insisted upon the city during a regular permit process. We also have negotiated that the developer put additional concrete soundproofing around the pump room to the rear of the project on the first floor facing the Roxon Court properties to try to diminish the noise level. The lighting on the property. Remember, we're talking about a 5-story parking garage and then a tower that comes in approximately 70 feet. So kind of like a wedding cake. A lot of concern about the lighting coming from this project, which we could not have done anything about otherwise. Under this agreement, all exterior lighting must be hooded or directed away from any residential areas. In addition, we are requiring, they have agreed to place metal screening on the 5 stories of the parking garage. That is a requirement that is in an ordinance that was passed recently by the City Council that we could not have applied to this project but for this agreement.
Next slide.
Sorry. Thank you, Mayor. That screening will block out the lights from traffic going up or down the parking garage. In addition, the developer has agreed to place what I call a green wall, a wall of vegetation. I have seen pictures of it that were done in other cities that covers the garage completely on the south and east side, so it's greenery instead of seeing just the parking garage. There will be an exit on Ashby Drive. Small trucks, SU-sized trucks, can come into a dock on Ashby. Residents cannot come into the development on Ashby, but they can exit on Ashby. It is a right turn only. Now, I have seen that derided in the blogs as well. The way this is going to be done is with a curb that channels the traffic out so it can only go to the right. The only way you can make a left turn out of this drive onto Ashby is if you're willing to blow a tire, ruin a wheel rim, or break your alignment of your car. It's a right turn only. In addition, there will be the entrance and exit on Bissonnette, but there will be restricted times for 18-wheelers and large trucks to the period of 9 to 4, Monday through Friday, and on the weekends. And whenever those trucks are used, there must be flaggers in place. All of these requirements that I've listed for you are requirements which, pursuant to the agreement, run with the land, which means that if the Buckhead developers turn around and sell this property tomorrow, or 4 years from now, or 5 years from now, any subsequent property owner would be bound by these agreements. In addition, as part of the agreement, the developer has agreed that the city can exercise the right of specific performance in the courthouse to compel them to adhere to the project as I've outlined it. If they are going to build it, and they tell us they absolutely are, and that they have the investors to do it, then they have to build it this way, and we can compel them to do so. So where do we go from here? The experience that I've had in the approximately 2 years I've been city attorney in trying to deal with situations where neighborhoods were faced with projects that they did not want, but because we are a city without zoning, we could not stop, was to try to bring the community and the developer together to try and, as the mayor says, put some kind of lipstick on the pig. In this particular instance, the developer, through their counsel, has any number of ideas of what can be done during the construction phase to try and limit the impact on the community. I know that we've been criticized because there's nothing in the agreement about what happens during the construction phase. We have ordinances which dictate what a developer can and cannot do during the construction phase. But most importantly, we cannot foresee all the contingencies that might arise. But we do have a developer and a lawyer for the developer that have expressed very specific interest in working with the community during this phase. Now, I will tell you, I came out to the site yesterday. I spent 2 hours walking around. I could not for the life of me figure out why in the world anybody wanted to build a high-rise there. But it's not my money, it's theirs. And we have no legal way to stop them from building something on that property. But we can work with them, and I would so strongly encourage you to do that in a peaceful way, to try to ease the pain as much as possible. I am suggesting, as I have in other instances, that we create a working group of designated community representatives with the developer, myself, and representatives of Public Works, so that we can have scheduled periodic meetings to address any concerns that might arise in the community prior to construction and during construction as this project unfolds. I hope sincerely that you take advantage of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The microphones, again, on that side and here, and I would urge you to line up. And we're not sure how many people are going to come up, and although the mayor did say we could continue until the cows come home, actually the cows are going to come home about 8:30. But the city has arranged for a timekeeper, and we're not going to be rigid about it, but it's got about a 2-minute window on it. And so if you could keep your remarks tight so that we can accommodate everyone. And if you don't get to all your points, just get back in line, and we'll really do our darndest to make sure that everybody has a chance to be heard, because that's really what we want to hear from you about. And so I'm going to ask Mr. Feldman to return to the podium, and then if you have questions that he's not prepared to answer, we have other experts in the audience that will address those. Mr. Feldman? And there's water under there.
Mr. Reeder.
I am Jim Reeder, and I am the co-chair of the Stop Ashby Highrise Task Force. And that's nice, but I feel wholly deflated. And I feel this room's disappointment and its anger. We always knew that the city had limited tools with which to stop this project. We were told, however, that the city believed that this was the wrong project in the wrong place. And many officials came to us and told us that as they were up for election. All we knew that we could hope for was that the city would do its absolute best to apply the most original thinking, to think outside the box, to apply whatever tools it had to do two things: delay this project and mitigate the impact of this project. Because time was our friend, not their friend. And if we could get this project delayed just one more day, one more month, one more year, perhaps the financing would dry up, perhaps the interest would dry up, perhaps the economy would change. And, you know, that's how the curb cut ordinance was found. Because the city said, okay, let's go look. Maybe we don't have it right at our ready, but we can go and look, and heck, we found this ordinance, and the curb cut ordinance, and oh my goodness, we're able to put this off, and we're able to put it off for 4.5 years. So I preface this by saying, although I'm not sure exactly what everybody's question is, because I haven't heard it, I can assure you that we have one purpose here today. And that is to encourage self-reflection on your part. For you to look inside yourself, look inside your departments, look inside your resources, and make sure that you believe you have done everything, that you've applied every bit of your skill and excellence and experience and know-how and original thinking to ensure that this is the best deal you can get. You're going to hear anger, frustration, disappointment, emotion, passion, personal feelings from the people here today. And I don't want you to be offended by any of that. I want you to know that that's because this hits us where we live. And therefore, all we ask is that as we raise these points with you, that you look inside yourself and you say to yourself, you know, we couldn't have gotten that. Or I'll go back and see if we can get that. The final point I want to make is that whoever's here representing the developers needs to understand something. And that is, the friend of my enemy is my enemy. Those vendors, those lenders, those real estate agents who intend to lease these apartments, these restaurants, these tenants even, who plan to support this project are supporting our enemy. And there are, I don't know how many people in here, 400, 500 people in here, which can make a difference in the economics of a project like this. So no matter what happens here, I can assure you, this ain't over.
Yeah.
Very well said, Jim. Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to, there's a lot of folks, very well said, and I know it was a rhetorical question, but do I believe that there is any other thing that we can do? No. You're a great lawyer. There were a lot of great lawyers that we hired. This project was green-lighted in 2009 by the last mayor, and he's a pretty great lawyer. If there is anybody in this room that has the silver bullet, I'd be glad to put it in my gun. Sir.
Thank you, Mayor Parker, for holding this meeting tonight. We appreciate it and appreciate all the support that you've given us, and your heart's in the right place. There's no question about it. I'm Jim Dunlap. I'm a resident of our super neighborhood lot of people don't know what